Hi, I'm Ansari, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can pass a map to our JavaScript file in a html5 extension. So without any further ado, let's begin. You remember from last video, we create a function in our JavaScript file, and for adding two values together. Now I want to create a new function that we can pass a map to our function, so we can send it over UDP, for example. So I want to call it send map over UDP. Okay, if you watch my videos about multiplayer game, you know this function by now, right? So we want to create it with an extension so we have more control over it, so we can use whatever JavaScript function that we want. What this send map over UDP wants, it needs a map for now. Okay, so with that, let's just go to our game maker and add that function to list all our functions in here. Just add a function, and in here I want to just copy this name and place it in the name and external name. You know that this external name is much important, and we can add a help to it so we know how we can work with this function. So always add a help. For now, I don't want nothing in return, but we want to pass something to this function that is a map. Okay, so let's just add one argument in here, and I want to change it to double. Why double? Because whenever we create a map, it will have a map ID. That with that map ID, that is a real number, we can access our map in our JavaScript file. Okay, so now we have our function. Let's just go to our object test that we create in the last video, add an event, for example, and in here I want to add a mouse event of global left pressed. Okay, and in here I want to create a map, and I want to call it my map, for example. Okay, my map is equal ds map create. Okay, and with that, after we add some value and send it and everything are done with that, we can delete or destroy this map. Okay, we can say ds map destroy. Okay, and we give it the ID of our map, and now our map is creating successfully, and at the end it will be destroyed. So let's just add some value to this map. We can add some value with ds map add. Okay, first of all, we should give it the ID of our map, that is a real number. Okay, next, a key that I want to put test in here, and some value. So for example 2022, or whatever you want to put, you can just put a string in here. Okay, like this, my test. Okay, so now we add some value to our map. Now we can use our function in our extension, right? And that was send map over UDP, and we should give it a map, that is our my map. And with that, we pass a map to our JavaScript function. For showing you that it's successfully received in this function, like we did it in our game maker, we could just say JSON encode, and with this JSON encode you can see it need a map for input, right? So it will encode it to a JSON. So first of all, we need to encode it to a JSON. We could just do it in here, but we can do it in our JavaScript file as well. Okay, because the type of map is something for game maker, not for JavaScript language, right? So first way to do it is just they encode it to a JSON in our game maker, and after that we can pass that JSON to our function in JavaScript. But the best way is that we can use this function in our JavaScript file. Let's just cut this, okay, with Control X, and now in here we can use that function, but we can't just do it this way, JSON encode. We can't do it this way. So let's just delete it, and let me show you how you can do it. We should use GMS API, okay? Whatever function that is in our game maker, we can use it with like this GMS API. After that, whatever function that you have in game maker, you can use it in here. For example, this JSON encode, and we should give it our map, and let's just put it in variable. I want to call it our map. Okay, now we have our map in our JavaScript file that is now a encoded one. Okay, it's like a JSON. Okay, JSON string. Now we can parse this JSON and do whatever we want with this JSON. Okay, so for doing that, we can just say JSON.parse. Okay, that is the function that is in JavaScript language, and with that we can say our map, and we can put it in variable in here. We say variable, I want to call it my JSON is equal to this. Okay, and now we can show it with console.log. Okay, and let's first say this is our map plus my JSON. Okay, let me see if it show us correctly or not. Now that everything is finished, let's just run our game to see if it's working or not. No, nothing is showing here because we didn't set up something to show. But if we go to our developer tools in here, you can see whenever we left click in here, it says this is our map and it shows just the object, okay, and it won't show the string of that. Okay, so let's just go here, and instead of just saying my JSON, we can say my JSON.test. Okay, so if you go to our game maker, you know that the key test have a value of my test. Okay, so let's just save this and run our game again. And now let's just go to our developer tools, left click in here, and you can see that it's saying this is our map and my test. It showed the test, that the value that we put in our game maker, my test. Okay, now we have access to our map in our JavaScript file. Okay, now you can do whatever you want with this JSON file in our JavaScript file. You can send it to our server, you can get back some data from server and give it to the game maker. You can do a lot with that, and I will show you how you can do it. I did promise you to create a video series about NFT games, but before doing an NFT game, you should know all about how you can create a HTML5 extension. So with that, you can have a NFT game. In the next video, I will show you how you can pass a list to a HTML5 extension. So please hit that subscribe button, and if you want to help me, hit that like button as well. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.